Think about the shooter. Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. And everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? And, our children are being radicalized to hate the America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people. And, people could, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team. And we better start acknowledging and focusing on that. And so having dance parties, celebrating the death of someone, I don't support that.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Give me a follow on X at Green_Jericho. Like and subscribe to this channel, also Green's House. Make sure you get yourself some merch. You see that little ticker across the bottom of your screen. Hit that, get you some merch. Got brand new designs there. So you just heard that from Mayor Eric Adams, and you see the title or the thumbnail is, has he been red pilled? Because we're hearing more and more common sense things spill out of that hole under his New York nose. He just met with Tom Homan, talking about we need to get these criminals out of here. He's saying in this clip, he's talking about the shooter, the killer of that healthcare CEO. And that is sick and disgusting how people are celebrating that, because he was the top dog at a big corporation of healthcare. And we know what we've all, maybe some of us have experienced ourselves, but the way they're portrayed in the media and movies and the way they're talked about in the media, billionaires are now bad. I thought we would all like to be a billionaire, but they're bad now, and they're heartless and cold, and they're worthy of murder. And that's what happens. You see that, all the time with politics and stuff, calling people, oh, they're Nazis and their followers are Nazis or they're racist. But once you dehumanize someone and reduce them to a label, then it's easier to hurt and harm and maybe kill them in some cases, because they're no longer a human being. They're just a title. They're part of a group. They're a number. Just as they see those CEOs, as they think they see us, that's how they see their enemy that they call a Nazi or whatever. You're just a thing. You're not a person. So it's easy to dispatch you. And that's not right. Even if that dude had something bad happen to his family, to a family member or something, and he thought it was the fault of the healthcare company, you can't get your hands on a firearm and walk up behind somebody like a coward and shoot him in the back. You've seen a Western. That's one of the worst things you could do. You steal a man's horse and shoot a man in the back. There's no honor and no integrity in that. So they found the guy. They have him in custody. But we're hearing more and more things that make sense coming from Mayor Eric Adams. Like I mentioned, him meeting with Tom Homan. But you kind of called those, how Mike Tyson gets up on the roof and all that bullshit. You did that. You called these pigeons here. And I can't believe that you honestly thought that all these people that you were beckoning to New York City were just a bunch of cold, shivering, dirty-faced, emaciated Mexicans from south of the border. You had to know that there were, I would say, mostly criminals coming over in those groups. International criminals. Hey, name the country. Name the country. You have countries south of the border emptying their prisons and mental institutions and getting their homeless off the street and sending their fucking asses up here to the greatest gravy train the human race has ever seen. Thanks in part to our own federal government, state governments. But you called all of those people here, so you can't be shocked. You can't be flabbergasted. You can't be clutching your pearls when you find out that a bunch of psycho gangster criminal monsters came up here in those groups. You can't be. We knew that, and we're not even in New York City. New York City? Come on, man. But is this too little, too late? Are you getting on this tough on crime? We got to get these thug illegals out of here train? Are you on there too late? New Yorkers, yeah. Let me know in the comments. Your boots are on the ground. What are you seeing? Is this too little too late? Should you have never done this in the first place? And when you create an environment of lawlessness, you may attract some people like this. There are lots of weak minds. He mentioned how they're radicalized, and that is true. These are homegrown psychopaths. These people who are radicalized, that's not just for countries that are far, far away in the sand who pray 5 times a day. People can be radicalized right here. It's happened. What do they call them? The Sarnev brothers, the guys who did the Boston Marathon bombing. They were radicalized right here in America. They're radicalized right there in Beantown by the Hava Yai. It can happen. And if you're weak-minded enough, never mind that this guy had everything in Ivy League and rich parents and all that shit. Obviously, his mind was weak enough to fall for this propaganda, for this indoctrination. America is terrible. America is racist. It is steeped and grown and germinated in violence and murder and destruction and the raping of cultures. This is a bad place. You notice they never leave, though. You notice they don't roll the dice in some third world country. They stay right here. But if you're weak-minded enough and maybe you don't have a strong enough structure at home, infrastructure, a foundation at home to kind of push back on some of this shit, if your parents are a bunch of leftist, granola-headed dirt fuckers too, well, then you're really in trouble. Because America is not this horrible racist country, and the same as slavery, the same with slavery. Why do they think that America is the only country to do this? America is the only country to enslave people. America is the only country to go far away in Africa to get slaves. The Arabs did it. The Jews did it. Never mind. Forget it. America is the only country to ever do that. America is the only country to ever kick another country's ass and take their shit. America is the only country to ever be brutal in a war. America is the only one. This is a terrible, awful place. Look at the destruction that we bring around the world. Look at the way we treat people here. People of color in the police state and all that bullshit. But again, they never leave. So if you're weak-minded enough, you're going to believe that shit and you're going to act on that shit. Now, you and I can hear all the crazy stuff you want to. And when it comes to doing some illegal shit or something we don't believe in or we know is wrong, we're not going to do that. It's going to fall on deaf ears. But if you are weak-minded enough, you will tap into that. It will tap into you. And you will start to think, yeah, that's right. These people aren't human. They should be killed. They are horrible. This is a terrible country. Well, judging by the millions of people pouring over the border, this country ain't close to horrible. Because they're still here at the trough of the federal dollar, gorging themselves. I saw a report the other day. The cost of illegals in New York City alone is almost $10 million a day. It's almost $400 per New Yorker. Per New Yorker. It's almost $400 per person. You got an extra $400 you want to give to somebody that doesn't deserve it, that shouldn't be here? New Yorkers, why don't you take $400, go find a rich person who doesn't need it, and give it to them? Same thing. Those people don't deserve that money. They don't need our money. There are New Yorkers, American citizens who could use that money, but not some illegal who just came here to suckle from that New York tea. But has Mayor Eric Adams been red-pilled? Is he seeing the light? Or is it too little, too damn late? Well, I'm going to find out because I'm going to meet you in the comment section. You know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.